1, 2, 3.
Hello, welcome back to Just on a Bike. Today's video is not the one I had planned to do. The video you saw last weekend, I had just gone out for a little run and got some fresh air. And when I came back from that run, as soon as I got into the house, I checked my phone and there was a message from Buster Adventure Biker, and he said he was in Dumfries and did a fancy going for a run, and the timing couldn't have been better because I had all my gear on, I had the bike out, so I went and met him. Did get held up in traffic on my way to meet him, but we had an absolutely cracking ride out down towards Newton Stewart and all the old back roads. He put a route into Kawimoto and we went down roads that even I've not been down, and this is my neck of the woods, so absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that. So that was going to be today's video. However, as you can see up at my top right hand side here, I've got myself a DJI OSMO 360. I've been waiting on that for a while coming out. It was released on Thursday, I think at 1 o'clock, and so I ordered one and it arrived yesterday. I had a little test yesterday with it, and then I'm hoping to do a bit more of a test on it today. So I was a little bit disappointed in a couple of things. First of all, I had kind of hoped that it would produce a 360 MP4 directly. It doesn't do that, but DJI have provided software, DJI Studio or something it's called, for you to edit your 360 video, and it's very, very touch and feel similar to Insta Studio. I think obviously that's what they've based it on, so if you can use Insta Studio you can certainly use DJI Studio. It seems very good so far. I've not had very much of a play with it. I'm hoping to do some more today when I get back to the house. But the other thing that I wanted, the reason I wanted the 360, the two reasons, there was one, produce the MP4 which it doesn't do, and the second was I wanted it to start with the remote the same as my Osmos do, so they start simultaneously. And now you may have seen a video that was up briefly. I've turned it to private at the moment because my first test of it, the 360 started recording about a second after the Osmos started, the OSMO Action 4s that I've got two of those. And that was a bit disappointing because the whole idea getting it was that I could just press start and all my cameras would start at the same time, and that saves a tremendous amount of time in the edit. Well, for me anyway, because I'm not very good at it. So, having seen that video that was up briefly, and I may put it up if today's test doesn't work, then I'm going to put it back up again. It was just a short. But in the meantime, I was speaking again to Buster. Hey, today's video is sponsored by Buster Adventure Biker. He came up with a suggestion. He uses GoPro cameras, and he found that one of his GoPros had to be added first onto the remote because it had two screens, whereas his other GoPro is a mini. It's only got the one screen, and he found the same problem that I had, is that they weren't starting at the same time. So he said, make the 360 the first one that the remote is connected to, and that might cure the problem. So I had a little play last night. I unpaired them all from the remote, and then I paired them all again, starting with the 360. And the tiny little test I did last night seemed to work. So this is a kind of proper test today. I've not done anything else with it other than switch them on. So I'm recording at the moment at 8K 30 frames a second on the 360, Now when that's edited down, it will obviously go down to 4K, and we'll see how that turns out. I'm reasonably happy with it. I was very not happy with it yesterday because it didn't do what I wanted to do, or so I thought. But I'm a little bit happier with it today. I'm going to just mostly use the 360 for footage today. I have relocated one of the Action 4s onto the back pannier carrier, so I've got a rear view, because what I did with the Insta X3 that I had before is I pretty much used it all the time as a rear view camera, and I'm hoping that I can get a bit more 360 video with the with the new one that I've got. So I've relocated to a rear view, and obviously the chin mount, and then the 360 up in the pole to my right. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping it's going to be good, but only time will tell. I am happy about the fact that the studio, DJI Studio software allows you to de-warp it, the same as Insta Studio does. So Insta Studio, or well, a 360 camera in general, has a very fisheye kind of view about it, just the way it works. But you can de-warp it to make it flatter, and I'm glad to see that DJI give you that option as well. One thing that DJI Studio doesn't seem to do, which Insta Studio does do, is allows you to alter the bitrate when you're rendering it. Now, with the Insta 360 X3, I recorded at 5.7K at 30 frames a second. That was the highest it would go. I could go higher frames per second, but I couldn't go higher resolution, and edited that down to 4K. And when I did that, I set the bit rate at 190 on Insta Studio, and that seemed to be the kind of optimum for me to give the best of the footage that I got. Now, DJI Studio doesn't give you the option of manually setting the bitrate, so you have standard bitrate and advanced, and there didn't seem to be, and I may be wrong because I've not played with it that much, but there didn't seem to be a place where you could manually set the bitrate. So we'll see how that goes. There's obviously going to be firmware updates, and DJI are actually really good at listening to their customers and the issues that they have, and being very quick to sort them out. So I'm hoping that the little fix that Buster came up with for my remote start works. If it doesn't, then I'll put a thing on the I'll put a thing on the screen just now to say it didn't bloody work. In which case I've already mentioned it to DJI, but I will mention it again if this fix doesn't work, because it is it is a game over for me as far as this camera goes. If I can't start them simultaneously, I don't want it. I'll just stick with my X3. I think one of the reasons Buster's been so helpful is that he's wanting to buy my X3 off me. So we'll see how it goes. The other initial view that I had with it, I find, and it might just be my perception, but I find the stitch line where the two 360 cameras meet to be a little bit more obvious on the DJI camera than it was on the X3. That might just be my point of view or my perspective, but that's how I feel about it. Again, it's something that might be sorted with a firmware update. I don't know if that can be done. I don't know enough about these things, but I'm sure the stitch line is a software thing, so I'm sure it can be sorted by software and improved slightly. So what do I like about the camera? Well, I like the fact that it uses the same batteries as my OSMO Action 4s, so I don't need to carry 2 lots of spare batteries, which is a a little Brucey bonus. I like that. The battery time, they reckon, and only time will tell, but they reckon it's not far away from being on par with the OSMO Action 4s. So my Action 4s, I get about an hour and 20, an hour 25 minutes from them, and apparently I should be getting at on the 360 at the resolution that I'm using, I should get about 100 minutes, but time will tell. It has built-in memory. Now what I don't know is whether it will switch automatically to that memory, the internal memory, when you've got a memory card in and the memory card gets full. I don't know about that. Somebody might be able to tell me if that's the case, but you have to manually change it. If you put in a memory card, you have to go into the settings in the menu on the camera and tell it that you're going to be using a memory card as opposed to the internal memory. So that leads me to believe that it isn't an automatic thing, but again, as I say, I may be wrong. But here's a nice little view that I could do a little zoom round on. So we're just heading up the Solway coast. I'm not planning to go very far today. I'm only out to test this camera, and then I need to get back, edit it, get it up, because I normally schedule for 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning, so that's tomorrow morning, and we're looking at 25 to 2 on a Saturday, so I'll have to pull my finger out when I'm editing, because I'm not very good at it. So if the remote start fix works, thanks a million to Buster. And if it doesn't work, then hey, at least we tried. So that's it. I'll probably do a little bit of music and some 360 video just to kind of end this video. I will keep you updated on how I'm getting on with it, because I am one of the first to get it. I got it the day after it was released, so I want to try and give you my feelings on it before anybody else decides to buy it, because problems that come up, I'd like to try and highlight if I possibly can. Do my bit for the vlogging community. So thank you very much for watching. I very much appreciate it. I will do the video, the ride out with Buster. I'll try and get that edited properly and get that out maybe through the week, because that was an absolutely cracking ride. Thanks again for inviting me, mate. Ride safe, take care, catch you in the next one. Bye.